What are we doing, Matt?
We're just kind of test fitting the crank. And like Chuck was saying, when we had the cap on, we had a problem getting to the flywheel bolts. So we're going to just put these two on, mate it up, and then give it a shot. Yeah. All right. So there's this one. I don't know if you can see that dot right there.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And that lines up with that.
Those are timing marks, so we got to match those up.
Yep. Nice and gentle. There she goes. Where'd you go? Boom.
Look at that. Lined
Just
up.
like that.
So next are the cam shaft bolts.
One here, one there. Still stuck.
So what are we tightening here?
These are the cam bearing keeper bolts.
See you turn it by hand or see it move back and forth.
Yeah, and I think we're pushing on that.
Yeah, we're not getting lined up on it.
The
Right
slot.
there. That's what I thought. I saw. See that hole?
Yeah.
So we probably gonna have one on that one too.
Now, will that spin? Let's just take this off and get it out of our way.
Once we get these lined up, we can line the
Line
time
it
marks. Yep. I like it. I like it.
When we want to push it in order to line it up. Okay. Now,
Let me get my flashlight. Hold on. Can you see it? Okay.
So what did we line up here?
We lined up the hole on the cam bearing that this little guy, that cam bearing keeper bolt, lines up with. So when we put that in, it locks it, keeps that bearing from spinning, lets it be a bearing.
So next are the main bearings, yes? And as Chuck pointed out, so the tappets don't fall out when we flip it sideways.
yeah.
So these have shims. We're going to use the same ones they had on there before, because it's going to change anything. So, I don't know if you can see those.
Yep.
That's to keep from too much pressure on the crank, right?
Yep. That's how
Took it
we
apart. This is the rear main. We took it apart. We marked which, careful man, which goes out. The Ford emblem on that, on everything. Awesome. But we're putting this one on last because we need to get to these bolts, and with this in the way, it's hard to get to them. You got to keep turning. So we're going to do these. Put these two on, made it up, and then put the rear main.
these would be 60, 65.
60, 65.
Yeah, if you got them at 30, just pop them at 30 and we'll do them all the same and come back to them. We'll work them in.
Come over there.
Nice, easy stuff.
Yep. It's just a tough spot right there. Let's see.
So, for those at home, we're using a torque wrench. What does that mean, Matt?
That it only allows us to get the bolt to a certain foot-pounds of torque. And right now we got it set at 30 just to get them snug, but it's 65.
60 to 65.
60
yeah.
to 65 for these bad boys.
I believe by the Model T Bible, it says one man's arm tight.
One man's arm.
One man's arm tight.
Yeah, that's using their French.
I guess that would depend on the size of the arm.
Yep, in the wrench.
And Chuck noticed, as we have counter pins on the bottom of those bolts, that we've lined them up facing out, so it's going to be easier for us to sit the cotter pins on it.
They've either dimpled the corners or something, but
So we can see the direction of the cotter pin
Yeah.
for the hole.
see if that hole's lined up. 'Cause this one moved. Yeah, mag post got to go first. It mounts on top of the mag post. The mag, you pick that up or not?
Okay, so first we're going to put on the mag post.
Put on the mag. Yeah.
Okay, now you've got the mag bolts that's going to have shims.
Yeah.
The shims go against the block.
So, right?
They go under.
They go under.
Yeah.
Okay. What are we doing next, Matt?
We are going to put some mechanics wire, tie these bolts together so they don't come loose and take a trip through the motor. Let's do it. Yeah.
Well, I like that adjustment.
Yeah. Milwaukee, buddy. Milwaukee tools.
Pull it tight and twist up the storm. One down.
One down. All right.
Right.
Just
So what happened with the brass screws here, Chuck?
They drill them at an angle to keep them from backing out.
So once they're kind of set at the right height.
They bottom out. They go in tight, and they screw a little drill in there, just like this one. Everyone's got a drill hole,
Yep.
and that keeps them from backing out.
wild. Neat.
All right, so we're going to tighten the flywheel bolts
Yep.
as we've left the keeper off. Right, Matt?
That's right.
The bolts we're talking about. Make sure to fit in your oil line because it's going to go into one of the bolt holes.
Just like such.
All right.
All right, so we've got those in. And we're gonna get them started.
Put our castle nuts on. All right, we're adding more mechanics wire here.
I'm gonna bend that up a little bit.
Make sure we're not rubbing.
Yep. Robin's racing. Oh yeah, we're clear. She's clear. These have shims in them, so I'm gonna take these off and then we'll slide it in, connect them to the bottom of the crank.
So we got Matt with our handy dandy ring compressor tool, setting for the next piston that we're going to gently slide into here with a hammer. And it should be the last one we need.
That's right.
All right, Matt, what do we got going on here?
Well, we're putting cotter pins in our castle nuts. for the piston rod bearings.
We got all the pistons in.
Yep. We ran into some torque issues on the bolts, but they're there and it rotates.
So what are we debating here, Matt?
The thickness of the feeler gauge.
Which we'll do.
So when we put the valves in, the distance of where they bottom out, where they touch, so they're not, you don't want them too high, you want them too low. So you're getting that constant.
Gap between the tappet and the valve.
There we go. That was a much simpler way to put it. Good job. Much simpler.
The space between your ears.
It's a lot bigger than 15 thousandths, I can tell you.
Moving right along. Adding the pins back into the valves.
All right. So we have got the meat of Stanley installed. We've got the pistons, the crank, the cam, the valves, valve springs, and tappets. The two tappets that we found, that Chuck found replacements for, seem to be fantastic. So we got those adjusted yesterday. We got our cam cover just kind of placed on right now. We still got gaskets to put in there, but we're going to finish doing the rest of that. We're going to put the head on, bolt up the oil pan, and then hogshead, and it should be ready to go. We should drop it in and see if the old Stanley will drive.
All right. Just a quick spritz of paint to help protect it a little bit.
That's right.
We also have our fancy cylinder protector for now.
Safety first.
Safety first.
All right.
All right, Matt, what are we doing?
All right, we're gonna clip the tip of this, put a little bit of Permatex on the gaskets, and then the gaskets for our timing cover and our generator mount. I got down there on the ground, but
So keep it sealed up.
yep. Good.
Doing a little gasket smearing.
Yep. Try not to rip the gasket. That doesn't. Oh, we got that backwards, man. No, we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Stay there.
Look at that.
Look at that.
All right, we're tightening this down. What were the torque specs again?
One man's arm tightness. I hope I'm worth one man.
So what goes on after these parts?
So after these parts, we're gonna put the pan on, oil pan. Chuck's expert advice, we leave this a little bit loose so we get everything lined up.
Okay.
Tighten it in. Because we're probably gonna flip it over, put the pan on top that way.
That'd make a lot more sense.
Yeah, now we get everything.
What are we doing next?
All right, now we're gonna put our pan gasket, belly pan gasket on here and get that set, and then we're gonna set the pan down on it. So it'll fit. That's the one. Head on, flip it back over.
Its own gasket.
Yeah. torque the head down. We've got the pan on. We flipped the motor using the cherry picker, but it went actually really, really well. So I'm excited about that. So we're next is generator, and then we're going to do the hogshead, get its gaskets and get it bolted and tightened. Of course, after we tighten this down, and we're going to take it off stand. Tighten the bolts on this side we couldn't get to. Our pan, oil pan bolts, the belly pan, and we'll cotter pin those. And then starter, we can probably put the starter on, we'll see, before we take it off. And then she's ready to go in. Little things here and there, little button ups, so we're good.
Yep. Pretty cool.
Yep.
So Matt's got the order.
Just for this middle, and then we'll move on.
So why is it important to follow that numbering?
So you get a good, even pressure down on the top. You don't have high side or anything like that. Because this is under all the pressure of the motor, really.
Yep, and again, Chuck comes through. He found us the numbering.
What are you down to?
80. I don't know if I'm doing that.
I would probably put on 35 or 40.
I'm there.
Come all
Let's
down
do
and
40.
come back.
Yeah.
Because there's real no torque specs.
I don't want to
But
snap.
where's that one wrench?
Speed wrench.
All that leverage there where you wouldn't have.
Yeah.
See, that's
I'm
tight.
gonna leave that one.
So if it's still the one arm man theory,
Yep.
whatever that is, and maybe a little more.
It's right at 40.
Imagine that.
I had no doubt in Chuck.
Well,
We got some light gasketing going here for the hogshead. Also got the generator back on. Stanley's fancy new transmission bands going back in.
Just like that.
Look at that.
one more step. You can start back here and just squeeze them together, and this just slides up.
Oh, it holds them on.
Chuck's got all the gadgets.
Can't see it from this one. There we go. A little tighter. Scoot it towards you some. Turn it towards you.
Where's the band?
Feel it?
There's that one. This one's gonna go backwards. There you go.
Slide them back.
I found the Permatex.
Hey Matt, what do we?
Hey Wayne.
What's our status update here?
Well, we've got the motor in old Stanley, and we're just buttoning up. I think that's the right size. A few things. Once we got them started, we had a couple leaks and drips, which is, you know, common. So we're snugging those up and give them an old run again. Let the davits and all the bearings and everything seat like they should before we take them on a test drive.
Pretty cool.
Very cool.